I'm Rebecca Lombardo, host of VendorVibes and fractional CMO. Today, I'm very excited to have this conversation because I feel like there's no one else doing this interview, so I feel like I got an exclusive. Today, I'm going to talk to you about Zeevou. I'm here today with Na'ím. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Rebecca. Good, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks. Okay, so tell me all about this company.
So we've actually been going for a number of years, but we've kept fairly low profile because we've been trying to make sure we can crack all the special cases and use cases that PMs have, especially at large scale throughout the world, which tech doesn't seem to address properly. So I started off as a property manager myself, grew the business fairly quickly once I left university to 56 units within a few months. And then everything started to just crumble beneath my feet. We had cleaners not showing up. We're chasing around town with chip and pin machines trying to keep deposits and have people delayed not being able to get keys because my person with the card machine, although I had 4 or 5 on Friday, they were stuck in one part of town. It was raining. The other ones were waiting outside the property trying to get in. It was hell. So I decided I needed tech to scale. I tried 6, 7 different pieces of kit. A lot of them promised a lot and delivered nada. So it was the painful decision that if I wanted to scale the business, I had to build my own software, and I had no clue about software development. I'd studied science at university, and I was fresh out of uni, so I didn't really know what I was doing. So we started building this tool. And then started addressing a lot of our needs. And then talking to other PMs, I realized there was actually a huge demand because everyone had the same pain points and no one found anything that really solved them properly. So then we sort of created a community of beginning about 50 hosts or so who came and started using the software, giving their feedback. And it became clear that there was scope to scale this properly as a SaaS product. But that we needed to fix the usability. So it was very complex. It could do a lot. It was very customizable, but it looked awful. Because I didn't have any designers involved, I just hired a bunch of developers to build this for myself. So we've spent the last 3 years, actually, 3.5 years now almost, completely revamping the whole thing. Which is why we sort of kept our heads down and why you say this is now an exclusive. We did win couple of awards before we started going quiet. But we tried not to trumpet ourselves too much while we made sure that we could deliver something that not only did the job, but also was easy to use and looked nice. So yeah, pleased to say we're now there. What is Zeevou? It's a community of hosts trying to build a bunch of tools that we all need to solve our day-to-day problems. What are these tools? They're tools designed to help increase direct bookings, to reduce dependency on OTAs, and make sure we all get to keep more money in our pockets. So we've got an advanced website builder with good SEO and high conversion rates, different tools that help you drive traffic to that, like branded invoices, branded automated messages. We've also got an automated email address collection that allows you to actually capture all the guest data from different channels. And then we've got things like promotions and voucher codes you can use to retarget guests or to get them to refer to their friends to make sure they come back in. And we also have our own free OTA, Zeevou Direct. And the idea is that the more hosts we get joining in, so we've got just under 3,000 now on our platform who can direct their guests to book through there in the future. We're sharing the love and we're helping keep commissions down for everyone. So that's on the direct booking side. And then we've got different tools that we've built to help with boosting revenues, but also more specifically profits. So we integrate with different dynamic pricing tools for smart pricing, like Price Labs, Beyond Pricing, Wheelhouse, and so on. But we've also built our own in-house tools, which we call rate rules, which essentially take that base price that's coming in, fluctuating up and down stuff. And then they allow professional revenue managers to do circus level acrobacy with it. So they can spin things around the way they like. They can manage multiple properties at once, different rate plans. So we can, one of the issues that I had is I started off managing vacation rentals, and then I started having blocks and guest houses and hotels. And I couldn't find a software that did both. Couldn't find a software that did sort of vacation rentals, but it had inventory management built in. So we can do that. We've got multi-rate rules. We can do short-term and long-term, so we have sort of blended length of stay as well. to help reduce the risk in the off season. So yeah, lots of different things you can use rate rules for. Just an example, you can also use it without the dynamic pricing, hike the prices on a Friday and Saturday, or if my occupancy level exceeds this or that, or if the lead times, whatever, or for night management. But more interestingly, if there's an event in town, for example, that the dynamic pricing missed out on, you can very easily come in and say, I want to block off the channels for this whole city, and I want to hike my direct prices by 200%. So yeah, it's hugely flexible in that way. And then we help distribute these rates over 200 channels. We can also create listings across about 100 channels by pushing them directly from the system. We synchronize rates and availability. We retrieve all the bookings into one centralized calendar. And we also do centralized messaging in a unified inbox that not only connects all the channels, but also gives you email and SMS communications in one clean timeline. So I can see exactly which staff member messaged which guest across my now 400 plus units that we managed. And I can see exactly what happened at what point of what the ping pong game was. So yeah, these are all tools that have helped us smoothen these things out. And then last but not least, in terms of boosting profits, we've also got some tools that help you diversify revenue streams. So for example, we've built the ability to have upsells not only for direct bookings, but also as part of the online check-in system for anyone who books through Airbnb, Vrbo, Booking.com, Expedia, and so on. So that's really the icing on the cake, but which helps not just drive revenue, but drive profit. Because as you know, it's a very slim margin game, and every extra you can make by putting a couple of rose petals on the bed, or by arranging a voucher for a local restaurant or a taxi shuttle to the airport and making extra 20, 30 bucks. Why not? On early check-ins, late checkouts is something that have really increased our bottom line. And we've built that in really nicely. When you select your check-in time or your checkout time, it automatically shows your extra cost and you pick it, just pay for it. So there's various bits like that that we have. And then there's one exciting thing that I don't know if I should be trumpeting yet, which we don't have, working on, which is we'll allow you to resell other host properties and make a commission off of that on your website.
Okay, so it's a PMS and a website and the optimization. So it's like all of the pieces.
Yeah, and a channel manager. So those are two out of the three things we built. And then there's a third thing, which is automation tools. I don't know how
so PMS, so PMS, website, CRM.
CRM, we've got two CRMs, we've got 4 CRMs. We've got one for guests, one for corporates, one for owners, and one for suppliers. So yeah, we try to cover all bases CRM-wise. And then we've got a whole bunch of operational streamlining tools, but I can tell you about those a bit later, maybe, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where are your properties? Where were they based?
My own property management company all across the UK. So we're all the way from the very south to islands and north of Scotland now.
Okay, excellent. And I would say what makes you unique or special, but what would you say you're most proud of, so far with this development?
I'd say the fact that so far we've managed to bootstrap everything, so we don't have external investors telling us to slap additional fees on our direct bookings because we have to hit certain revenue targets in front of our IPO. And being able to really stay close to our partner hosts, as we call them, not clients or customers, but really I love to work with them, get ideas from them, see how we can further enhance the product, how we can help them scale their businesses further. So our tagline is freedom to grow. And really, we don't see ourselves just as a piece of kit that you go and sign up to on our website, but we're trying to build a community. We're trying to engage with people. And I'm really glad that we've been able to stick to that. And I think the fruits of that sort of community endeavor have become clear in the quality of the product that's come out on the other end.
Excellent. And would I need to have anything in place as a property manager in order to use it?
Not necessarily. So in terms of what?
Do I need to have an accounting software? Do I need to have full-time staff?
No, I mean, we've got people who've signed up with 1 or 2 units, and I was just talking to someone the other day. They've scaled to 70 units in a couple of years. Using Zeevou, they didn't have any staff. They just started off on their own. The biggest need, I guess, is a payment processing tool like Stripe or PayPal or whatever other merchant you want to use that we can then integrate with to automate the payments and secure deposits. You don't need an accounting software because, as part of the stuff I haven't told you about, we've got a full accounting suite with owner statements and various reporting bits and bobs. But we don't take care of things like tax filing. So we help with tax calculations, but we don't file and we don't do payroll, for example. So for those sorts of things, you'd need a package like Xero that we integrate with. But yeah, I mean, you can, there's a lot of people who don't use that and just give their accountant a login, who then downloads your ledgers at the end of the year and files up. So depends on how automated you want to be, I guess.
Okay. So if you think about somebody who's using Zeevou right now, can you think about maybe why they're so happy with it?
Yeah, one of the things that people seem to really enjoy, which to me is sort of the icing on the cake, is the automation around the owner statements. So maybe I should tell you a bit about the stuff I haven't told you about, so it makes a bit more sense. So we've got various operational management tools. So we've got automated messages, which allow you to set various triggers. So for example, 2 days before arrival, or say if the booking meets certain criteria, then ping out this message, and it can be email, API, or SMS. We're about to add WhatsApp in that as well. You can pull variables from listings. So you can say like, pull the check-in instructions and put them in this part of the template from any listing. So then you just have one template, you just put your check-in instruction per listing rather than having to have 200 templates for that purpose. And then we've one of the most frequent users, or the two most frequent ones, I guess, would be the first message you send out when the booking comes in, which says, thanks for booking. And then you say, click below and click on our online check-in system. So they'll click on the check-in link and they go through the process online. We've got a 5-step process, which allows you to collect guest contact details, marketing consent opt-in, purpose of stay, documents, like upload your selfie, ask custom questions, purpose of the stay, and then the early check-in and late checkout upsells are part of that as well. And then you can have details on additional guests. You can upsell the different items we talked about on a per listing basis. We automate payments through 3D secure links, so you minimize your chargebacks as much as possible. And then we fully automate secure deposits with a custom timeline where you can set, I want to pre-vote my deposit like 2 days before and keep it until 3 days after. And we've got two options to make sure that it doesn't just expire after 7 days or after 5 days like it does if you're using Stripe. So we either have an option where we try to re-authorize, but we can't guarantee the funds, or we've developed an auto charge and auto refund. We've actually captured the funds at the start, and then we release the funds back to the guests once they've checked out. So that's the online check-in system, and then that is reflected in the back end in what we call check-in ready. So depending on what you've turned on as a requirement for each listing, you'll have a traffic light system where you can see green, red until everything's green. That's once you check the guests in. So once the guests have been verified, they've signed the terms and conditions on our system, payments done, secure deposits done, you've got all their details. You can turn those on and off. And off the back of that, you're then ready to check in. Once the guest has checked in, they go into stayovers. On departure day, they come in the departures list and check them out. And then one of the special things we've developed is our awaiting finalization process, which essentially allows you to get all your checkouts, all your no-shows, all your cancellations in one place to double check that they don't owe you anything financially, they haven't caused any damage once you review the cleaner report, and then you finalize that booking. And by finalizing the booking, you're posting the invoice through to Xero. You're releasing the deposit if there is one to be released, and you're locking the booking from further changes. What that means is essentially on a daily basis, you're preparing every single booking for your owner statement at the end of the month. And that gets rid of the hassle at the end of the month, having to prepare your owner statements manually. So one of the things, back to your question, that people love is the simplicity around the owner statements, because we pro-rata all your income, all your expenses by nights and months. So any income that's come from any channel, we check if it's a 60-day booking, you get 20, 30 nights, whatever, allocated to the month. And then you get your channel commission deducted, your payment fees deducted, any expenses you add as a one-off to the booking, or any expenses that you've added to the listing or the property or the city. So electricity, Wi-Fi, gardening, linen delivery, whatever it is. So we'll prorate everything down to the unit basis and then add that up again for all the nights in the month. And you get a very clean interface with an owner portal where they can log in, they can track in real time depending on the access level you give them, where the booking came from, how much it was, so they're not worried that you're not being transparent with them. And at the same time, they can also go into the expenses and we can look at the attachment of the invoice for each expense that you put in there. So they're not calling you up and say, why don't we spend $2.50 on soap instead of $2, you know?
Wow, that's a lot.
That's one of the things that people really like. There's more, but
Wow. All right. So if somebody hears this and they want to learn more and get more details, what's the best way to get in touch with you? And I can put your email address in the description and everything. Just let me know if you prefer LinkedIn, if you prefer email.
yeah, if people want to contact me directly, LinkedIn's fine, email's fine. It's just Na'ím, my first name, at Zeevou.com. But we have pretty much everything that I've just said is laid out on our website fairly clearly on Zeevou.com. And you can just head over, you can sign up. You can sign up on the free plan if you want. So our free plan includes our websites. We don't charge a penny, we don't charge a commission. It's just there to help you get more direct bookings. And then if you want to have more advanced features, then you can upgrade either by buying add-ons or by upgrading to a paid plan. And if you're not quite sure yet and you've got some questions you'd like to ask, we offer free demos as well. So if you scroll to the bottom of our homepage, you'll see the option of booking in a free demo. And then one of our team will jump in full and answer any outstanding questions that there may still be or help ensure. One thing that we're very keen on, especially for large property management companies, 100, 200, 300 listings, that we're not leading them down a rabbit hole. So we always like to first make sure before they sign up that all their needs will be met by jumping onto our platform, because I know there can be a bit of a pain to transition systems. And we've built various tools that we just like to talk them through, like we can import listings from Airbnb, so you don't have to manually create them, or you can upload them by a spreadsheet in bulk. You can upload all your existing bookings via a spreadsheet to look through your historic data and make sure reporting runs year on year, gives you a proper comparison and so on. So yeah, just to have a chat and make sure it's the proper fit, especially if you've been operating for a number of years and you've got data there, you want to make sure it doesn't get lost. So yeah, any of those options, depending where you are at in your business. And also very happy to always jump on calls and discuss people's growth plans. Obviously, we're not the biggest out there, but I guess 400 units, 450 units is not bad either. So yeah, happy to chat through what's stopping people from growing and how we can help besides just providing the tech and helping scale those businesses.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for talking with me today. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Cheers, everyone.